So I have a toilet that's, the flange is too high off the tile floor. I'll show you a picture of it. It's more than about, I would say about an inch off the tile. So it is mounted on top of the tile. So when I tried to screw it down to make it level, it broke the flange because I kept tightening and tightening and it wouldn't come down. So if you look over here, there's a gap about as high, about an inch high. See, and the whole toilet's moving. So I have to fill this gap in. I did some research and some people recommend using shims. I'll show a picture of that. But the shims tend to move. You know, you put a shim, 2 shims here or 3 shims here and shims there to stabilize it. But it's unsightly, and from what I read, it tends to slip out after time. So that's why I decided to go with a better solution where I would actually use some Lexan, which I have left over, to fill in the gap. Some people have also used PVC board to fix it, and that's also a good option because it wouldn't rot if it gets wet. I'm also using a corky seal, which is wax-free. That allows you to reposition. They have some instructions what to do when it's too high. Fits all flange heights above floor, which is what I have, even with floor and below floor. Now, like I said, because this was higher than the typical height, and then because I broke one corner of the flange, I had to put a supporting ring, a metal ring around it, which raised it another 1/4 inch, I would say. So it's way above the floor right now. So they have 2 rubber seals on this unit. So you remove the bigger one and you keep the smaller one, and still it was way too high. So that's where I'm going to put the Lexan between the toilet and the base and the tile to bridge the gap. So to build up the base, I'm going to use some Lexan, some leftover Lexan that I have, and I just measured out, put it under the toilet base, and I just drew a line. So I'm going to cut over here, and then I'm going to use my grinder, which is not the best tool. A jigsaw would have probably been better, to cut this out. And then I'll take this and put it over here, cut another one, and take that and put it here and cut a 3rd one. And hopefully the thickness will be sufficient to make up the gap that's under the toilet, between the toilet and the tile. So let's see. All right, so this is what I ended up with. Just remember to wear gloves. And when you're using this, I use a metal cutoff disc. And when you're cutting over here, it's okay, but it tends to kick when you start making the corners. So I just bit down gradually on it and made it all around. It's not very tidy. I'm going to take some sandpaper and sand it down. Then I'm going to clamp it together and put some glue or some silicone to stick it all together. Of course, I have to take the plastic, this writing off. It's a little plastic film to protect it. Then I'm going to clamp it all together, like I said, and glue it down, make it a solid disc, and then I should be able to install it. I'm going to use some DAP Ultra Clear. It's a strong multi-surface adhesion. So I'm just going to put it between each layer and let it dry, and then I'm going to tidy up the edge at a later time. There it is. You just have to put the caps on in the back, cut the bolt a bit, the hacksaw, and probably put a little cork here to tidy it up.